Hi, Isabel. Welcome to Funnel Vision podcast. We're thrilled to have you here to share your expertise with our sales community. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Elana, for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, good. So, jumping into the first question, what is your one game-changing tactic to build strong client relationships?
That's a great question. I think sales is very personal to me because I come from hospitality and that's my background. I really believe in eyeball to eyeball, right? That power of personal connection. And, I've heard a lot of people say, don't waste time having coffees with people. Well, that works for me. So I think you have to do what feels right to you and
Yes.
what feels authentic to you. And once I do that, for me, I really try to give white glove service. And what that means to me in terms of, sales and the sales approach to my clients is I take a lot of notes. I have pretty bad memory. So I take a lot of notes and I write down, not just their birthdays, but what the food they like, the music they like, what's happening in their family. And really try to customize that. There's a great book, you probably know about it, called Giftology. And I
Mhm.
love that. And it talks about, just kind of radical generosity. And I really think that fits really well in terms of sales.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you with what you're saying about coffee meetings too, because I've seen in several places lately where it says like, oh, don't waste your time with a coffee meeting or no, like for me, I agree with you. Like whenever possible, of course we do business across the country, so sometimes it's not possible, but
Sure.
whenever possible, meeting somebody face to face is really the ultimate way to build that relationship because you can build relationships, via Zoom and everything and over the phone, but truly like just being face to face with that person, even if it is just for a coffee, is just that it's just so valuable to really get to know them. Because when you're having coffee too, you're not only talking about business, you're getting to know that person, right? Like their family, their kids, their hobbies, and just kind of things that come up. So I do agree with you. It is super valuable.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. There's something about just the need for social connection, right? And you just never know, as you said, when you're going to find some common ground, when you're going to be able to connect on a different level. So yeah, yay for coffees.
I agree. I agree. What's the best piece of sales advice you've received and how has it changed your approach?
Oh, thank you. So I had a lot of head trash coming into the EOS community in terms of I'm not a salesperson. I don't see myself as a salesy person. I hate when people sell to me. And I think it was very quickly I found out one of our core values is help first. So I had to change my mindset and my vocabulary really to replace sales for service. And we are really just helping people, right? So, and sometimes people need help and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they do and they're not ready. And sometimes they just don't. But when they do, our ability to help them from a place of service and without expecting anything in return, I think that's the critical piece, right?
Hmm.
When we service and when we serve others. So that was really what changed my mindset. So that was the best piece of advice I got. And the community in EOS, you know it very well, is all about that, right? That abundance mindset. How can we help? How can we support? To help entrepreneurs do what they love and succeed at their businesses. So that was the mindset changed sales for service. That did it for me.
Yeah, and it's so true because it with at Talent Harbor too, it's our one of our core values is a go-giver, which I don't know if you've seen, read the book The Go-Giver, but
Yeah.
really same philosophy, right? Like help first. It's about, really just being selfless. And maybe it is you're having a conversation with someone and they're not ready for your service. It's not the right time or it's not the right match, but just being able to make an introduction to somebody else or, kind of come at it with a place of like, okay, well, I can't helping you doesn't mean you have to necessarily buy what I'm selling, but how can I help you? Is there someone in my network that can help you? And those things really go a long way.
Agree.
Yeah. So talking about like AI, now like, we've hear so much about AI in the news and on LinkedIn and everything. And it's just definitely creating some, new opportunities and new, kind of ways that people are using it within sales, and business in general. Like, how do you see it changing the game and kind of incorporating AI into the future of sales and business?
Yeah. I really believe, and I'm sure you've seen this online, but you're not going to be replaced by AI. You're going to be replaced by somebody that knows how to use AI effectively. So, I mean, if you're not using AI, you're missing out, clearly. I think the power is how do you use that information to make you a better human facilitator in our case, right? So, AI can't row the boat yet. AI can't read a room yet and build trust and build connection and call things out. So I think all that, the ability to build empathy, right? Feeling with people, reading the room, the messy stuff that is not something you can put in a prompt. I think that's where a great salesperson, a great facilitator, a great US implementer, anybody that is in professional services, how do you make a difference, right? So use AI to prepare, to brainstorm, right? To use all the efficiencies that are out there. But I think AI can't row the boat yet. So our ability to use it to leverage the human connection when we are with somebody, again, ideally eyeball to eyeball, but if not, virtually. But I feel it's still a very human process. The sales process is all about building trust, and
Mhm.
it's hard to do with AI.
Yeah, and just like you were saying, like AI can't go have coffee with someone and build a relationship and everything else. Like it may be able to give you the information that you need, right? To, like you said, to prepare for meetings or to, get better data out of your meetings or get better data just in general or, kind of do the legwork on a lot of things. But, in sales and just in business in general, like there's so much as just the human aspect, and AI is not there, at least not yet.
Not yet. And I think the complexity when you have different humans with different backgrounds, with different experiences, sometimes that speak different languages, are in different parts of the world. Like, how do you put all that together in a manner that's effective and that people can, oh, okay, this was a meaningful conversation, or this was a meaningful meeting, or we achieved a lot today as a group, not me and the machine, right? So I
Mhm.
I'm trying really hard for that never to be replaced because I really feel that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of things that AI can do, and hopefully it will never replace the, that human element of, relationships and reading the room and just having that, being able to solve those problems that, are, sometimes people are buying. It's an emotional process, and AI can't help you with that. They can give you the data, they can give you different things, but helping somebody through that process and understanding, the psychology behind it too is it's a very human thing.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. What do you think is something that, a salesperson should stop doing immediately if they are looking to become more successful?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of over reliance on AI right now, getting it everywhere. Harassment on LinkedIn, right? Borderline harassment on
Oh,
LinkedIn.
yeah.
And that's hard because that doesn't build trust. And it's funny. I read something the other day that I thought was brilliant, and it's like good salespeople sell features, right? Great salespeople sell outcomes, but really great salespeople sell feelings. And uh, like you can't do that virtually and through numbers, and everybody can read through the mess. And so I think over reliance on tech, over reliance on AI, over reliance on LinkedIn, and I think that's becoming a little bit too much. And I don't think it's helping salespeople get what they want.
Yeah, especially not with yeah, I mean, how many emails and messages on LinkedIn do you get a day? I mean, I get so many, I don't even look at them. And you can tell immediately if they are, AI, they're impersonal, they're just, so being able to do that, like you said, have a coffee with someone or pick up the phone and talk to someone, is really, kind of going back like old school, but that's really where the relationships are built. So
Agree.
absolutely.
Yeah, and selling is such a relationship built on trust that like any relationship based on trust. So you got to build a relationship first.
Yeah.
And I think AI, if not done right or used right, and you not connecting with that person, is not going to just get the close.
Yeah, I totally agree. Um, so shifting to like hiring, at Talent Harbor, we place sales talent. I know you've, kind of worked with salespeople or just with, businesses in general that hire salespeople. Are there any go-to strategies that you have for, spotting really true like rock star salespeople?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I, was in human resources for 25 years. So I've interviewed a lot of people. And back to the concept of right person in the right seat. How do you make sure that your salespeople are the right people? And having the right salespeople is everything. And you know that because you place them and you know the effectiveness of that. So I really believe in having pre-assessment, pre-employment assessments, right? To make sure they have the right profile for a sales role. There's so many assessments out there. I love culture index. I love predictive index, making sure that the person is right for that seat. And, in my mind, once you do that, I would screen like crazy for two things. In my mind, there's kind of two core elements for a successful salesperson. The first one is persistence, right? Do they have that ego strength to be able to deal with rejection, right? You get beat up and get up and keep going. So that, persistence has to do with that strength. And then to balance that out, I really feel warmth is huge. Are they warm enough that their ego is not getting in the way? Just like you need a little ego for persistence, make sure it's not so big that it gets in the way. And the person is really able to be warm and connect with prospects and clients. And, I think once you hire them, you really need to take time to understand what motivates people. Different people are motivated by different things. And, one size fits one, right? Making sure that that top performer in sales is being rewarded in a way that's meaningful to them.
Yeah.
For retention, I think that's huge.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot, which is every person is motivated by something else.
Right.
And just because you have one salesperson or one, it doesn't matter what role it is. And any, what that person is motivated by is not the same as the next. So, understanding that as part of the interview process, but like you said, even more importantly, once you hire that person, understanding how they're motivated and what motivates them and what they want out of their, career is very important. And I think it's a step that a lot of, organizations miss because they hire the person, they're in this seat, and then they don't sometimes even do anything about it until that person is unhappy or now looking for another role. And they're like, oh, but wait, what can we do for you?
Yeah.
Doing that while while they're happy, while they're performing, and like having that person know that you're looking out for them. You know what their goal is. Their goal is to get to the next level. They want to become a leader. They want to become, make more money. It's different for every person. They want to have flexibility. Like there's so many different things, and understanding that is really key, before, but then of like even more importantly, while they are employed by you.
To retain them, right? Because if
Exactly.
you feel that they're getting what they want, they're getting the results they want, and they're being rewarded internally, right, for doing a great job. I think that balance of persistence and warmth is really important because we've all been there. We've seen people that are too persistent, and that's annoying, right? Nobody wants to connect with those people. And people that are too warm, or maybe it's hard. I'll tell you, for me in the beginning, I still struggle with rejection. Every time, somebody says no or not now, like I get crushed a little bit, and I've gotten a little bit better at saying, okay, I can be, disappointed for 24 hours, but then I got to keep moving.
Yeah.
So our ability to bounce back and stay connected, right? Because you never know, your network is so important, and keeping those connectors, those, not just prospects, connectors, your clients happy, that whole cycle is really critical for your success.
Absolutely. I'm the same way where I still get upset too, but it's one of those things where there exactly what you said, there has to be that balance. Like if you don't get upset at all, there may be a problem there. And if you get too upset, there's a problem there. So it's like you still have to care, but you have to like, rein it in also.
Yeah, it's hard not to take it personally, right, Alana? We talk about it, and so you got to keep going. How can I do better next time? Reflect on what worked, what didn't, and keep going. Got to keep moving.
Yeah, definitely use those lessons to learn from and not just to like, cry in the corner, but to actually like take the information and learn from it for next time. So, and
Yeah.
there'll always be rejection in any type of sales and any type of, B2B or and really kind of just in general. Like it's not always, not everything is always positive. So for
Yeah.
sure.
I think still, were you able to help that person in some way, right?
Mhm.
That's where kind of for me, the purpose and the satisfaction comes in. Were you able to point them in the right direction? Were you able to recommend a great book? Were you able to introduce them to a great person that maybe can help them with something else they need, right? So maybe the help didn't come from you, but indirectly you were able to point them in the right direction. I think that can be really rewarding as well.
I agree. Absolutely. So, Isabel, tell us a little bit about your background, what you do, and where people can find you.
Awesome. So I am an EOS implementer, entrepreneurial operating system. I'm sure you've talked about this in previous podcasts, but my background is hospitality, human resources and luxury hospitality for 25 years. I after 25 years, I felt that I wanted to find purpose doing something different, and I always loved working with entrepreneurs. So I started looking for how that could be done and found EOS, read traction, and fell in love with it and said, this is what I want to do. So I'm super happy to have made this decision and be part of this incredible community of 850 implementers, that help people achieve their vision, right? Execute with traction and operate with healthy teams. And helping entrepreneurs, 10 to 250 employees is typically our target market. But my smallest client is about 2 million in revenue. My biggest client is about 6 billion in revenue. So when you think about it, it's the gamut and it works. It's industry agnostic. And it's transformative. That's, I think, what's really rewarding, right? Just to see the transformation in a room. As we help them. So that's what I do. And I'm obviously on the EOS website. I have my microsite. Anybody can find me there. I'm in Miami. I'm part of a team of 6 EOS implementers called the Profit Recipe. And we've helped over 250 companies here in South Florida.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on Funnel Vision. Appreciate it. And all of your advice and insights have been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elana, for having me. Have a great week.
You too.
Thank you.